Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to me because, as the title already says, the Toronto Raptors. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment if you like the videos that I'm making. I would really appreciate it. And aside from that, let's get into the video. So today I wanted to talk about the Toronto Raptors and something that's been bugging me for a bit. So what's wrong with the Toronto Raptors? Obviously the season just started, right? But I'm concerned for a few reasons. So the Raptors started this season 1-4. They've lost to the Heat, the Pelicans, and I think the Spurs. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned because this team reminds me and resembles the Toronto Raptors of past years, of the mid-2010s. They resemble like the Toronto Raptors of the 2014 or 2015, a team that was just good enough but never got anywhere. This team doesn't even resemble that. They just look worse. I don't even know where to start. At least those teams back in 2014 and 2015, at least those teams made the playoffs, and you had at least some hope because they had, star players such as DeMar DeRozan. But this team, particularly this year, is kind of iffy. It's kind of weird because it doesn't seem to be that star. Pascal Siakam was poised to become the next star for the Toronto Raptors after DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard. He hasn't quite blossomed into the star that we think he can become, and actually he's kind of been inconsistent a little bit. We saw that in the bubble this past summer, and we questioned whether he can actually be a star or be that guy that they need him to be. But right now there are 12 teams better than the Raptors, which is weird because I had them, me being from Canada, obviously root for the Raptors. Come on now. I had them making at least the playoffs, at least being competitive, but there are 12 teams better than them right now. And I know the season just started and I shouldn't bash on them, but I think this is indicative of what's to come. This is like a foresight of what's to come. And there are a few things wrong with them. I'm going to try and attempt to diagnose exactly what I think is wrong with the Raptors, what they're missing, and what they need. Because of myself, and I think a few analysts also had the Raptors at least making the playoffs, at least being better than what they are right now. Obviously, they're missing Kawhi Leonard, right? They're missing Kawhi Leonard, but here's the thing. Kawhi Leonard's been gone for a year now, and the Raptors have proven that they can play without Kawhi Leonard. Last year, they had a stellar record. They made it to the bubble, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs, and they lost the Boston Celtics, a really good team, in 7 games. So they have been good. They've proven that they can play without Kawhi Leonard, right? But the thing is, this offseason, the Raptors lost some key players for them, right? So this offseason, the marquee players that they lost were Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol, and these two guys have something in common. They're both bigs. They're both big men. They contributed greatly to the Raptors. Marc Gasol contributed 13, 8, and 4, and Serge Ibaka contributed 15 and 8. The Raptors got a significant portion of their points from them, and with them being gone, the Raptors lose out on a little bit of scoring, but they lose out on something that's way more important, which is defensive prowess and rim protection and rebounding. But Los Angeles took both of those guys from them. The Clippers took Serge Ibaka, and the Lakers took Marc Gasol. So, the Raptors lost these guys that contributed a lot of scoring for them and contributed some rim protection for them and some rebounding. And Toronto's missing them a lot. Toronto's missing solid big men that can go out there, rebound, protect the rim, and kind of be like those towers that just are in your way of scoring. And you're starting to see this because a few days ago, the Raptors lost to the Heat 117-105, a 12-point loss, but that's not that interesting. What is interesting to me is the stats regarding the rebounding and just the presence of a big man. They were out-rebounded by 14. I know that's like, okay, well, that's one game, but here's the thing. They also lost to the Pelicans, and they were out-rebounded 45-35. When I see those numbers, and when I watch the Raptors, and I see that they're getting out-rebounded by these teams, I start to think, wait a minute, okay, maybe it's just 2 games, but again, they lose to the Spurs, right? The Spurs out-rebound them 53-36. They're just getting manhandled, dominated down low on both ends of the court, on offensive and defensive boards. It's starting to peer through, and it's starting to result in losses. You can start seeing the pattern. They lose to the Heat, the Pelicans, the Spurs, and in each of those games, they were significantly out-rebounded. In the game that they did win, they weren't out-rebounded. So there's a pattern there. If there's a pattern, there's a problem. And since we've identified the pattern, we know what the problem is, which is they need a solid center or big men to give them protection and to help them rebound. Since we've identified the problem, the next question becomes, what do the Raptors need to do? What do the Raptors need to do in order to address this problem? And I think they can do a few things. I think Masai Ujiri, who is a very, very good president, by the way, basketball operations president, kudos to him. I think what he needs to do is he needs to go out there, scout the market, and see if he can get himself some solid big men. Anyone that he can get for a really good price. Because the Raptors, they kind of lost some key players like Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. They were good players, but they were also good assets to trade. And since they don't have them, and you don't want to get rid of Fred VanVleet, and you don't want to get rid of Pascal Siakam, and you don't want to get rid of Kyle Lowry, if you want to keep that core, you want to supplement it with big men. And go out there, scout the market, see if you can get a big man for a decent price. What I don't like is this James Harden talk. People think before the trade deadline comes, the Toronto Raptors are going to go out there and acquire James Harden, which I don't think they should do. I think acquiring James Harden is going to come at a hefty price. You're going to have to give up like Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet for James Harden. And when you get James Harden, what are you going to surround him with? Nothing. That's why I don't think it really works out, because they just don't have the assets for James Harden, and it wouldn't work out if they got James Harden with no one else around him. So their best option is to keep the core that they have right now. Go out there, acquire a solid center or anyone that's big that can help them protect the rim and help supplement that scoring. I think Masai Ujiri should try to pursue this and get it done as quick as possible before teams realize what the pattern is with Toronto, right? And he loses his leverage, right? Because this is early on in the season and people don't know exactly what's wrong with them yet. I think he should do this, right, before teams catch on to his team's flaws. And also because the sooner you get someone in, the sooner you get a big man in, a center or a big man, to help them with the problems that they have, just the better it becomes, right? Because the big man comes in and whoever it is able to mesh with the Raptors early on in the season and form a chemistry early on in the season, which is good because the season this year is shortened. It's from 82 games to 72 games. So the quicker and earlier you get him in and they could, mesh or get along with each other and learn how to play with each other, the better it is for your team. Right there are two incentives for Masai Ujiri to go out there and try to look for someone to supplement this Raptors team and help them out. I think the Raptors should do this because of the two reasons I outlined before. Number one, you want to do this early because the earlier the new guy comes in, the better it is for the team, the chemistry. Number two, the other teams don't know what you're up to, and so they don't have leverage on you. And then number three, it's better to stop the bleeding now, right? You don't want to let your team keep losing while you can do something about it, right? You should do this before the trade deadline comes so you can get the best deal so it doesn't seem like you're desperate. So that's my reasoning for it. So getting a center or a big man makes the best sense for the Toronto Raptors. I hope Masai Ujiri does this, and I hope the Raptors turn this season around. Honestly, I don't want to see the Raptors slump into this terrible team, that we used to know in the mid-2010s, because the Raptors to Canada means a lot, right? The Raptors, people don't respect the Raptors a lot. It always feels as if the Raptors have to do a lot more in order to gain respect of people that don't live in Canada, and I don't think that's fair at all. So them losing just puts them in a worse position, and also it doesn't do good for the growth of the game. I'd like in the future that someday the NBA puts more teams in Canada, maybe in Montreal and in Vancouver. But in order for that to happen, the Raptors need to consistently be good for a long time in order to grow the game of basketball in Canada more and more, to the point where the demand for it becomes more and more, that people on the West Coast in Vancouver, maybe Calgary, want a basketball team, and people in the East Coast, like in Montreal, also want a basketball team. And in order for that to happen, the Toronto Raptors have to consistently be good, win all the time. And that's why I really want, the Raptors to turn this around, because there's just more to it than just a season. It's kind of like they're walking around with this burden on them, right? Because me as a basketball fan, I really want more basketball in my country. And this is why I really want the Raptors to turn around. But aside from that, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys sticking through the video. If you like this content, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below, and let me know what you guys think below. Just let me know. I don't care what it is. Just comment down below and let me know what you think. Aside from that, see you next time.